My wife's innocent office gossip turned into the most painful incident of my life. When Sam and I got married last year, I thought life was finally settling down. Then one Friday, she went out for Christmas drinks with her coworkers and came home drunk around midnight. The next morning, I got an Instagram message from a fake account saying she'd been flirting all night with a guy named Tom from her office and that they'd left together around 9, walking hand in hand. When I showed Sam the message, she said she didn't remember much after 8 because she was so drunk. She checked her phone's location history and saw she'd gone to a bar for about an hour before heading home. She let me go through her phone. No suspicious messages, no number saved, nothing. She said Tom was just a friend. When I asked about holding hands, she said she didn't think so. She blamed the message on a coworker named Helen who hated her for no reason. We didn't talk much after that. A few days later, she said she'd spoken to Tom and he confirmed they hadn't held hands. They just linked arms because she was tipsy and wearing heels. When I asked why Helen would lie, Sam said Helen had a crush on Tom and was jealous. I asked why she went for a drink alone with him and she said they'd just stopped at a bar with live music. I tried to let it go, but something felt off. The next week, she mentioned another office Christmas party. I barely slept the night before, and when she left for the event, she looked stunning. Around midnight, Helen messaged again. Sam and Tom had gone to another bar after the main party. Sam got home at 2 a.m., less drunk this time, and went straight to bed. I checked her phone location and saw she'd made a detour to a residential street before the bar. Helen confirmed it was Tom's house. When I confronted Sam the next morning, she said they'd only gone there to smoke before heading out. Then she blew up, said I was controlling, and stormed out to stay with her sister. She didn't answer my calls all weekend. When she finally came home, she said she couldn't do this anymore and wanted a divorce. She insisted nothing inappropriate had happened, but that my lack of trust was the final straw. She packed her things and left. I spent Christmas alone. She blocked me on everything. I went to my parents' house for the holidays, but I couldn't stop thinking about her. On Christmas Eve, I saw her on our home cameras picking up more stuff. My parents thought she'd come back, but deep down I knew it was over. Then Helen messaged again saying Sam and Tom had shown up to work together in his car. I didn't reply. Later, Helen told me Sam was turning the office against her and Tom was trying to get her transferred. It sounded messy, so I reached out to Sam to talk. We met at a pub. She said she wanted to end things peacefully and swore she hadn't cheated before our breakup, but admitted she and Tom were now together. She said they realized they made a better couple. That was the moment I walked out. I blocked her and started preparing for divorce. Months later, I learned she was pregnant. She claimed it was mine, which seemed impossible unless she'd gone through with our final IVF embryo without my consent. I panicked, thinking she'd forged my permission or tricked the clinic, but it turned out I'd signed the papers months earlier and forgotten. The transfer was still valid. She'd done the procedure legally. By then, she and Tom had split up. When I found out she was pregnant, I got lawyers involved and both of us got a settlement from the IVF clinic. Even after everything, I started visiting her again for baby scans. She told me she'd been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. She said the pregnancy was her last chance to be a mom. She wanted us to raise the baby together. I didn't want to be with her romantically, but I didn't want to miss my son's life either. We agreed to buy a house in my hometown and live there platonically. She moved in right before therapy started, and it was awkward at first, but we began talking again. Therapy brought out everything: the miscarriages, her depression, my emotional distance, and all the things we'd both done wrong. I realized how much I'd pulled away when she needed me most. Slowly, we found some peace. She admitted that Tom wasn't really the problem. It was how broken we'd both been. I canceled the divorce, and when our son was born 2 weeks early in December, I held him and knew I wanted to make things right. For a while, life felt calm again, but months later, her bipolar disorder flared up badly. After Christmas, she developed severe postpartum depression and decided to stay with her mom for a week. She never came back. She stopped answering my messages. I've been taking care of our son alone for months now. She doesn't even ask about him. I've been offered a year-long job in Sweden, and I want to take it, just to get away and start over with my boy. I've got his passport and birth certificate, but I'm scared she'll show up and make trouble if she finds out we left. I don't want to keep him from her if she ever wants to be involved again. But right now, she's gone, and I can't stay frozen here waiting.